He was a summoned beast, despised by the whole world, but the second I summoned him, I was so ecstatic I squeezed and kissed him. My classmates mocked me, calling me a fool. Even my teacher, who had high hopes, was now screaming in anger. He said I wasted his training, but I just smiled. Instead, I sold everything I owned for 100 pounds of monster meat. To activate my puppy's hidden talent, I patted his little head. Just then, a contract notification echoed in my mind. Loyalty absolute, never betray. Initiate soul bond, I chose yes, and a soul-tearing pain immediately ripped through me. I screamed and collapsed. My classmates thought I broke under the pressure, and they started mocking my school beauty girlfriend. Liu Ruyan walked over, apologizing. Sorry, but the college entrance exam is the only way for ordinary families like ours to climb the ladder. Liu Liang, a lancer, just agreed to team up, so I cannot join you. I stood up casually, completely unfazed, and replied, no problem. Hearing my casual response, her next words choked in her throat. A sudden wave of resentment welled up in her. She snorted, turned around coldly, and walked away. The girl beside her glared at me with disgust and said, he is just pretending not to care. Ruyan, why be so humble? He only summoned a tiny palm-sized black dog. How does he deserve you? I completely ignored them. Once our soul bond completed, I made an incredible discovery. My puppy had awakened an SS talent, Devouring Gluttony. He can turn any food into energy, bypassing all growth limits. He can even evolve. My suffering paid off. In the entire Great Sha SS class, awakeners can be counted on one hand. The country highly values and protects them because they are so powerful. Still, I felt like something was slightly off. Wait, why am I the one doing all the sacrificing while my summon gets all the benefits? Whose cheat code is this, anyway? I pulled the black puppy close to my face. Your name is Blackie. Work hard for me. He happily licked my cheek, looking incredibly happy. I tossed him a steak and he devoured it instantly, swallowing ordinary meat evolution value, plus 0.5. As the notification sounded, Blackie grew slightly larger and all his basic attributes rose. This was just from eating a normal steak. If he devours more food later, how terrifying will he eventually become? My heart raced at the thought. Even more surprising, my own strength seemed to increase. It really looked like. My cheat code feeds a portion of his energy back to me. I immediately spent 6,000 to buy 100 pounds of mutated meat and summoned Blackie. Seeing the bright red meat, Blackie felt a powerful urge to devour it rise from within. He immediately tore into it rapidly, converting the mutated meat as he greedily devoured every single piece. Massive energy flooded Blackie's body and his size exploded right before my eyes. At the same time, I also felt my own power surging. After half an hour, Blackie grew to over 2 meters and all my attributes increased by 10 points, making me elite. This cheat-like growth would easily let me close the gap with everyone else. I clicked the system's evolution button without hesitation. The moment I clicked, confirmed deep within Blackie's body. His terrifying, innate origin shook. Suddenly, a special black evolutionary force exploded, rewriting his cells and genes. His life leaped to a higher level. Congratulations. Your summon Blackie has unlocked the skill tier. Congratulations. Blackie has awakened the talent gigantification, size triples, strength, and defense increase by 300% speed drops, by 50%. With this evolution, all of Blackie's stats broke past 50, and he is only level 1. Even top-tier summons cannot compare to this. Generally, summoned beasts are divided into 4 ranks, low, medium, high, and top tier. The standard is S-rank is high, SS is top tier. As for SS-rank is high, SS is top tier. As for SS talent summons, none have ever appeared in history. I took Blackie home to sleep, ready to see what challengers would show up at tomorrow's college entrance exam. Candidates gathered in the plaza as Lu Wen explained the dungeon rules. This exam put several top high schools together, making the competition incredibly intense. Even the once confident Liu Liang was now sweating bullets. Ximan, are you still coming? Why not just give up and avoid embarrassing yourself? You can always pretend. You didn't lose. The speaker was Ye Chao, standing next to Liu Liang. Beside him stood Liu Ruyan wearing elegant mage robes. She looked arrogant as ever. Clearly they had formed a team. Then a bell rang and 4 massive bronze gates opened, simultaneously pouring out a bone-chilling draft. Without hesitation, all the students immediately began to check their dungeon details. Oh no, our school got the Bone Forest, one of the deadliest dungeons with the highest failure rate. What are you crying about? All dungeons are hard. Easy for you to say your school got an easier one. Seeing this, Lu Wen quickly warned us. The Bone Forest has complex terrain. The trees and bushes are dense, so you must watch out for monster sneak attacks. Stay alert to everything around you. Then he pulled out a watch-like device. This device is a mechanic-made recorder that transmits your dungeon scores. Suddenly a loud chime rang out signaling the start of the exams. A stunning long-haired girl in white armor stepped up first and entered. It was our senior, Su Lingshu. She chose a solo run since larger groups reduce your final score. The truly strong always go solo. Around the square, crowds of younger students chatted with intense excitement. With a quick thought, I connected to the dungeon. White light enveloped me alone. I also chose to go solo. Once everyone was inside a level, 20-man waved his hand, projecting the dungeon feeds onto a water screen. A flash of white light appeared as a student surrendered and exited. The teachers sighed and lowered their heads. Feeling the mocking stares of the crowd, Lee Mingji grimaced and silently watched the shifting water screen. Suddenly, a lone boy appeared on the screen, scanning his surroundings carefully inside a dense forest. Lee Mingji gasped, "A solo run! Did our school actually produce such a talented student in yesterday's awakening?" Luwen was speechless, knowing I was just a basic summoner. Meanwhile, inside the dungeon, my dizziness cleared. I stayed alert, looking around. Suddenly, a heavy thud echoed nearby. Without hesitation, I raised my left hand. A 4-foot staff materialized. A barrel-thick green worm lunged from above its head, splitting open to reveal razor-sharp teeth. I gripped the staff and unleashed a flash of white light, slicing right through the beast. It split in two. The two halves crashed to the ground. A notification popped up: poison-toothed worm killed. 5 experience points gained. My wristband lit up at the same time, 15 points added. Outside, the entire crowd stared in disbelief. Is he really a summoner? That reaction speed and agility are insane. Even Lu Wen was completely stunned. I had done well in combat practice before, but nothing like this. After the kill, I headed deeper inside. Suddenly, a series of eerie shrieks echoed. Dozens of small, ugly, green-skinned creatures emerged from the shadows. Goblins. Our textbooks described them as vicious, fast-breeding pests that would even resort to cannibalism. There were about 50 or 60 of them. Facing a swarm like this alone was suicide, so I acted. I summoned Heiming in my mind. A flash of white light erupted, followed by a deafening howl that shook the forest. My wolf glared coldly at the rushing horde. With a powerful leap, he launched himself forward like a cannonball. The lead goblin's skull shattered instantly, sending him flying backward. The other goblins shrieked and attacked. Their crude weapons shattered against Heiming's back. With a fierce stomp, he crushed another goblin's head. Ignoring all defense, Heiming went on a rampage, tearing through the horde like an unstoppable force. Even these dumb creatures felt pure terror. They broke rank, scattering in panic. But I had other plans. None of them were escaping. Ordering Heiming to hunt them down, I charged at the nearest target. Holy crap, is our school's senior really this insane? His summon is strong, but his own combat skills are crazy. In the spectator stands, the younger students cheered wildly. Just 10 minutes ago, they thought I was finished. But together with my summon, we wiped out the entire horde. Watching this, Lee Mingji's face lit up. To grow this fast, he must have a B-grade growth talent. That potential easily rivals top-tier summoners. Our school finally has a true genius. He quickly turned around and asked about my current score. He currently has 560 points, ranking first in our school. But Su Lingshu is still ahead. She has 830 points, leading by a massive margin. The teachers gasped in shock. They have been inside for less than 20 minutes. This kid could actually compete for the top provincial spot. Inside, glowing orbs rose from the corpses, merging into me. I hit level 2, boosting my mana slightly. That is the flaw of basic classes. The gap only widens later. But I have Heiming to boost me. He was busy devouring the goblin remains, while my score already guaranteed passing the college entrance exam. My goals are much higher than that. Let's go, Heiming. The real hunt begins now. Goblins are pack monsters. Since a scout unit was here, a nest must be nearby. 10 minutes passed. We encountered no other monsters, confirming my suspicions. This dungeon is more like a living, breathing world. Nothing here respawns automatically. Everything follows natural laws. Suddenly, bone spears flew at us from above. Goblins ambushed us from all directions, screaming and waving their weapons. I did not flinch. My staff transformed into a sharp blade, instantly decapitating the nearest goblin. I focused completely, ready to dominate. I swiftly slaughter these fragile goblins. With every dodge, my blade precisely claims another life. Right then, I dance like a butterfly in the wind, my wings a scythe of death. This poetic elegance leaves onlookers outside in awe. Back at school, both the teachers and Lee Mingji look thrilled. My combat style is so flawless, they suspect I practiced endlessly. My swordplay is lethal, slicing throats with absolute precision. By now, they've stopped watching anyone else. Their eyes are glued solely to me. Lu Wen's jaw drops. In 3 years, he's never seen me do actual combat practice. My teacher whispers, "This kid hit it too well." But things are turning bad. 13 level 6. Berserk goblins just appeared. They worry I'm in trouble. Fire and ice goblins have joined. Hunting their nest alone is too risky. The teachers grow anxious. With these elites leading them, the chaotic goblins suddenly form a disciplined, coordinated army. Backed by chanting fire goblins, fist-sized fireballs condense in the air and come hurling straight at me. I swiftly dodge them all. Seizing the opening, the other goblins rush in. I tilt my head, dodging a thrusting bone spear. Then I snatch a goblin by the throat, flinging him upward. An incoming fireball collides with him, exploding in brilliant flames. I become a human launcher, hurling goblins like cannonballs to smash into the fire goblins. Holy crap. Can I really fight like that? Outside students are dumbfounded, and Lu Wen is dazed. He never taught me this technique. I leave the fire goblins completely disoriented. If they cast spells, they hit allies. If they stop, I slay them. During the chaos, Heiming flanks them from behind, picking them off. Soon only a few of the 100+ goblins remain. Terrified, they flee. But I don't wipe them out. I casually trail them, preparing to destroy their entire nest. Following the survivors, I enter a dark cave. Suddenly, several skinny green figures leap down from the stone walls. I tighten my grip, swinging my sword in a decisive arc. Heads roll, bodies drop, and the remaining 2 are snatched by Heiming's night vision. He crunches down, devouring them. Suddenly, endless firelight flickers around the corner. My face pales. I leap backward as countless hideous figures crawl along the cave walls. With a grim expression, I shout, "Heiming." His body swells at an alarming speed. Activating his giant talent, he charges violently, crashing through the airborne goblins. He scatters the pack. A massive claw slams down, obliterating them into splatters of blood. Suddenly, a deafening, savage roar echoes. A monstrous beast, with a thick furred neck and bulging muscles, slowly emerges. It's as tall as a building, glaring at Heiming. My face darkens. It's the troll boss. He charges forward. His heavy steps shake the entire cave with rumbles. Showing no fear, Heiming lunges straight into him. Heiming's sharp claws glow with black light, slashing the troll first to leave 4 shallow gashes. Feeling the pain. The troll goes wild. His massive hands grab Heiming, slamming him down. Pinned down, Heiming is battered brutally, coughing up blood with a whimper. Seeing him suppressed, I quickly cast my class skill fortification, boosting stats by 20%. White light wraps around Heiming. Power surging, he flips the giant troll over, slamming him to the ground. He bites off a chunk of flesh. The troll's eyes turn red, activating bloodlust. Both go absolutely wild. I juggle fortification and healing. The massive commotion echoes for hundreds of meters, shocking nearby students. Burial forest bosses are at least level 12. Who is this beast soloing a boss? A 3-man squad investigates. They hope to help and steal a share of the loot, but arriving, they freeze. This isn't a team. It's just me. I slash with my blade, landing the final blow. The troll's health drops to 0. No student dares to interfere. Liu Ruyan is among them, staring at me in absolute shock and disbelief. Then Zhao Huiyang from the elite class approaches. "Didn't expect our school to have such a beast," he says. "Your summon looks badly injured. Need a heal, our priest has plenty of mana." A cute girl kicks him from behind. I smile and reply, "No, but thanks anyway." Hearing that, they turn to leave, but catch a glimpse of my score. 5,320 points, he gasps, almost losing his mind. Then Liu Ruyan approaches with a flushed face, but Heiming's crimson eyes glare coldly at her. She freezes, her legs trembling. I don't even turn to look at her, refusing to fall for her sweet trap again. Retreating into the cave, I let Heiming devour the corpses to strengthen himself. Once he eats everything, an energy cocoon wraps around him. This evolution is massive. I can't wait to see his new power. Soon powerful claws rip the cocoon open. Heiming emerges, his body having expanded several times over. Now a noble, icy dark blue, he unlocked deterrence and flame skills. Even his talent upgraded a tier. Leveling up safely is a complete transformation. With an hour left in the exam, I rode Heiming to hunt more monsters. 10 minutes later, Heiming and I entered the territory of another boss, the level 15 Twisted Tree King. Outside, Li Mingji was frowning. He knew the Tree King's health and attack power were double those of the Forest Troll. At just level 4, bridging such a massive gap in combat power made me a rare genius nationwide. Back inside. The moment I stepped onto the muddy ground, red-eyed trees awoke, their massive trunks splitting open down their backs. They uprooted themselves, thrusting branches toward me. Unfazed, I lunged forward, drawing the blade from my staff to slash. In the blink of an eye, I swung 5 times, leaving afterimages. Slashed branches hit the dirt. My eyes narrowed. Bounding forward, I closed the gap. Without hesitation, I thrust my blade directly into the tree monster's gaping mouth. With a twist of my wrist, I ripped the blade downward. Under its terrified gaze, a massive wound tore open. Green sap gushed out as its health bar emptied. It collapsed. Seeing their kin slaughtered, the surrounding tree monsters went wild. As they closed in, Heiming roared, shredding a tree monster with one swipe. Then pitch-black flames erupted. The fire enveloped him, igniting the tree monster and spreading rapidly to the others. They shrieked in sheer twisted terror. No matter how they struggled, the dark fire wouldn't die. It was devouring their life force. I watched in awe. I didn't expect Heiming's flames to be this overpowered. Soon the entire pack of tree monsters turned to ash. The dark fire returned to his body. It allowed him to bypass eating meat and directly absorb raw energy. In no time, we both leveled up, and my score shot up to 7,120. Suddenly, the ground exploded. Thick golden branches shot up to crush us. A furious roar echoed from afar as hundreds of trees parted. They revealed a massive 100-meter tree king. I stepped back, even with my stats now over 50. Charging in myself would be suicide. I knew my limits. Strong enemies had to be handled by my summon. Heiming's eyes flashed with malice. Wrapped in dark flames, he charged the twisted tree king in his strongest form. The black fire greedily devoured everything, sending tree monsters shrieking in pain. I saw my opening and leaped in to harvest them. Enraged by his dying kin, the tree king roared, sending countless golden branches stabbing at Heiming. Ignoring all attacks, Heiming charged the tree king. The dark flames surged aggressively along the golden branches. With a flash of dark light, his sharp claws shredded the tree king's bark. The massive tree shuddered. Its face twisted in agony as branches impaled Heiming from every angle. Yet relying on his defense, he traded blow for blow. The flames crept upward. In sheer terror, the tree king felt its life force being slowly devoured. Terrified, the twisted tree king tried to flee. But with a roar, Heiming bound it in chains of dark fire. Heiming's attacks grew even more brutal. Zhao Huiyang and his 3 friends arriving to help stood there completely stunned. A level 15 tier 2 boss was being completely dominated. I was surprised to see them, but then I understood. Zhao's grandfather was our school's former principal. To save our declining academy, they risked their own college chances to help. Just then, a thunderous crash echoed. The twisted tree king fell. A warm white light enveloped me. I reached level 8, my score jumping by 3,000 points. I left the remaining tree monsters for them. Getting points can't be this easy, Miao Shanshan muttered, her jaw dropping. In 10 minutes, they hit the threshold. For the top academies, normally we fought for our lives, but Heiming's presence alone terrified the monsters. Not a single tree dared to fight back. Zhao Huiyang shook his head. They had come to help, but ended up receiving a massive favor instead. The dark flames returned to Heiming, whose base size had now grown to 7 meters. My basic stats all broke 70 points, and hitting level 10 meant I could class evolve. This exam was over. The dungeon began its forced teleportation. Enveloped in white light, students materialized back in the massive plaza. Roaring cheers greeted them. Beside me, Heiming sat like a mountain 7 meters tall. I actually took first place. Principal Lee and the teachers were red-faced with excitement. 3 talents was insane, and my solo power surpassed standard summoners. This achievement was completely unprecedented. Old Lu, you raised a legend. Come on, let us go welcome Ximan. Li Mingji couldn't wait and dragged them along. Meanwhile, on the edge of the plaza, Liu Ruyan looked utterly miserable. Having given up and failed an hour ago, her score couldn't even get her into a decent college. She blamed me. If I had told her my summon wasn't useless, she never would have paired with Liu Yang, her eyes filled with venom. Meanwhile, Su Lingshu was surrounded by teachers from high school number 3, all sighing over high school number 2's crazy luck. What a beast. Yeah, Lingshu, don't be discouraged, they said. Your score of 19,500 is already amazing, Su Lingshu replied with a smile. He was fine staring toward high school number 2 with a curious, thoughtful look. Just then, the provincial leaderboard dropped, without a doubt. I was first. Heiming is a total cheat code. 0 growth limits, and its combat power gets more terrifying with every single evolution. I was already anticipating my next summon. Back home, I told Mom and my sister. Soon, the 1 million provincial first place prize had cleared. Mom and Sis wouldn't have to live frugally anymore. Back in my room, I prepared for my first job transition, which required a randomly matched reincarnation dungeon. Looking at the panel, I clicked transition without hesitation. Instantly, I vanished from my room. Coordinates. No, 08694. This is a scarred world on the brink of collapse. The spark of humanity is about to go out. Will you bring salvation or destruction? Optional Quest 1. Eliminate 1,000 calamity beasts and protect any survivors as best as you can. Optional Quest 2. Help the calamity. Mother beasts devour everything and evolve. Total players 10. Time limit 24 hours. No voluntary return to Blue Star. Without warning, I materialized amidst the ruins. Frowning, I didn't hesitate to choose. Quest 1. If the Calamity Mother Beast devours everything, then what is my Heiming? Just then a figure crashed out of a nearby glass door. Shards rained down as a petite girl hit the ground. A skinless, blood-red, crawling beast lunged from the dark shop towards her. She desperately reached for a nearby katana, but she was too slow. The cold fear of death gripped her. Right then, a flash of sword light instantly severed the beast's head from its body. The mid-air monster collapsed lifelessly onto the ground. I stared at the two dark red horns peeking through her hair, slightly surprised. Hello, how unique. Recovering her senses, the girl fell silent, unsure how to respond. Hi, I'm Ximan. I'm Lu Yu. I was just about to ask them about this world when a sudden shout echoed, unusual activity, everyone retreat. Lu Yu's face changed instantly as he grabbed me to run. Let's go, or else... Before he could finish, a car came flying straight at us from the distance. Reacting quickly, I viciously yanked Lu Yu behind me and raised my staff to block it. Under the car's massive impact, I was pushed back over 10 meters before stopping. Panic-stricken Lu Yu ignored his pain and rushed over. Are you okay? Calming my surging blood. I shook my head. I looked ahead at a bipedal calamity beast covered in hideous spikes. A blade demon. We're trapped. Lu Yu said, his grip tightening on his hilt. The blade demon accelerated. In a flash, the ground beneath its feet caved as it lunged. Before Lu Yu could even react, a figure blurred past him to meet the beast. I drew the hidden blade from my staff, clashing with the blade demon's razor-sharp arm. Metal shrieked. Screaming, the beast swung its other bladed arm straight at my head. I deflected it with brute force. Lu Yu, toss me your blade. Hearing this, Lu Yu threw it, and I caught the hilt with perfect precision. Unsheathing it, my eyes burned with battle intent. All right, let's go. Sensing the provocation, the blade demon lunged, twin blades slashing furiously. Unafraid, I wielded sword and blade together. In seconds, we traded dozens of blows, our movements so fast, they left after images. After a flurry of clashes, I spotted an opening. Slipping past a lethal strike, I swung the left-hand blade upward. In a swift slash, severing the monster's arm, giving it no time to recover, I drove my sword straight through its heart piercing, its tough hide right through its back. Nursing his aching arm, Lu Yu walked over. You aren't from here. I gave a non-committal smile. Can you tell me about this world? It's the miasma. It's plagued us for an era. More and more people couldn't endure the torture and went mad, turning into monsters that exist only to kill. Now, the miasma is changing again. Even roads, mountains, and rivers are mutating. Humanity has no idea how to survive anymore. Hearing this gave me a general idea of this world. Just then, around the corner of the road, a dozen panicked people appeared. Lu Yu, why are you still here? Run! A tall woman leading them shouted. As she finished, the ground shook like a rushing torrent. Above, a thick mass of crimson miasma began to gather, as roars echoed from all directions. On the high rises, countless calamity beasts appeared, their bloodthirsty eyes locked onto us. They formed an advancing wall of monsters enclosing us. Panic slowed everyone down as despair welled up from their hearts. Gulping in fear, Lulu said, Lu Yu, stay close to me. She glanced at me, assuming I was a survivor from another organization. Ignoring her, I walked straight ahead. Wait, what are you doing? We're surrounded. This is no time to play hero. My lips curled into a grin. No. They are surrounded by me. Killing all of them will skyrocket my evaluation. My rank will skyrocket. Heiming. Amidst a flash of white light, the 7-meter-tall Heiming materialized. Its roar shook the sky. Its deep blue vertical pupils stared coldly at the tide of beasts before entering its giant form. It instantly grew to 28 meters, towering over the buildings. As it braced its limbs, the ground shattered into a web of cracks. It struck like a missile, obliterating everything in a dozens of meters radius. Under the searing heat, the beast dissolved into ash in seconds. Behind me, everyone stood completely frozen in shock. Suddenly, a dozen stray calamity beasts lunged directly toward me. An attack. Watch out, Lulu shouted, rushing to back me up. But a second later, she froze in her tracks. Instead of backing down, I charged, carving up the beast like cake. Lulu gasped. They showed no signs of mutation and should have been weak. Suddenly, a realization hit her. Months ago, while scavenging, she'd seen similar unmutated, powerful humans. They dragged survivors out from their hidden shelters, leaving them to be slaughtered by beasts. If they tried running, they'd break their legs. You monsters aren't our equals. Lulu never forgot those cruel words, but she knew I was different. He's different. He saved my life twice. Sensing her worry, Lu Yu quickly explained. Lulu took a deep breath, hatred in her eyes. Stay away. He's drawing the beast. Let's escape while we can. But as they moved, lightning struck. No passing. A blond youth holding a book stepped from the lobby. As he chanted, crackling lightning spheres materialized. My face fell, and I instantly swung my long blade. I swung my sword sideways. Clang a dagger hit my blade as a beautiful woman shimmered into view. Without hesitation, I slashed at her waist, but she vanished, reappearing dozens of meters away, unharmed. I lunged forward like a bullet. Panicked, she screamed, "Help me already! Right on QA!" Fierce wave of fire erupted. We collided in a shower of sparks. "You're a summoner," a burly man scoffed. He sneered. I shrugged off his heat, my cold blades pushing him back, as 4 others stepped forward. Reincarnation dungeons ban killing, making violators, wanted criminals, unless there are factions. Who knew? Someone would actually pick Quest 1. Didn't Great Xia teach you how to maximize your survival odds? Aligning with the beasts is the obvious choice. Watching them treat me like trapped prey, I smirked. Ever heard that the best hunters disguise themselves as prey? I drew you all here on purpose. Did you really think I had no plan for your lovely speeches? Let me treat you to death. The feast is served. Time for Darkmane to dig in. A brutal roar echoed as dark flames surged. The flames fueled the giant wolf, swelling him to 8 meters. His terrifying presence crushed their spirits. They felt a soul-crushing dread. As the giant wolf lunged, an icy chill shot up their spines. Terror flooded their minds. Right before his massive claws slammed down, 3 of them desperately scattered. The last unlucky fool couldn't even scream before Darkmane tore him to bloody pieces. Cold sweat broke out on the survivors. They expected a weak summoner, but I had matching combat power. Worse, my summon had insane power, brutal damage and crowd control. Holding it back was impossible. Surviving 3 minutes seemed impossible. As Darkmane charged the next target, the blond youth chanted frantically. Thick, violent lightning chains materialized instantly, binding the giant wolf's limbs and neck. "Kill him now, I can only hold him for—" The youth screamed, but he cut off. Darkmane shattered the chains with a single shrug. "Impossible! That's my A-rank talent," he gasped. With my enhancement spell active, Darkmane's strength soared. Terrified, the survivors unleashed their ultimate moves. The elegant woman split into shadows, lunging at me from all sides. Suddenly above her head, countless ice spikes rained down, forcing her back. A silver-haired girl stepped forward gracefully. Frost spread from her feet, freezing nearby beasts into statues. "I'll stop him!" the burly man roared. He charged with roaring flames. The other 3 tried to burst me down, but a loud roar echoed. "Look at your daddy, bastards." A taunt instantly forced all 3 to turn and glare at the shield. Held by a massive, chubby guy. Suddenly, Darkmane appeared behind them, shredding them in a flash. He then swiped at a nearby building, sending sharp debris flying toward the elegant woman, tearing her clothes. Darkmane caught her instantly, his dark flames consuming her entirely. On the other side, an icy blast erupted, turning buildings and living targets into frozen statues. The burly man became a solid ice block. 6 down, 1 left. Everyone turned their cold, murderous gaze toward the trembling blonde youth. He summoned a panic-fueled lightning storm and ran. I easily dodged the bolts and swung my blade. His head rolled. Turning back, I asked, "Know anything about calamity beasts?" Lu Yu nodded quietly. "They are mutated beasts that gain sentience. Hunting it," I nodded. "It's the only way to escape. Reaching the peak is the only way to bring a sliver of hope to this world." Just then, Su Lingshu walked over. "We meet again," she said. Before I could answer, the chubby guy gasped in shock. "Boss, you are the top scorer of the winter exams. No wonder that beast was so insane." Soon the 3 of us warmed up. I learned the big guy's name was Lokshuan. Then I told them my plan to hunt down the Calamity Broodmother. They agreed without a second thought. We immediately set off for downtown. Before long, we reached a massive bridge when suddenly a shadow loomed ahead. Red eyes flared in the dark as calamity beasts rushed us. Heiming unleashed a terrifying roar, then charged straight into the flooded streets of monsters. Dark flames erupted through the horde. My face fell. The broodmother had spotted us. Beside me, Su Lingshu's eyes flared with an icy blue light, standing like a silent goddess. Sharp, lethal ice spikes materialized above her head. With just a single thought, she unleashed her frozen wrath. The ice spikes rained down on the horde flanking us from behind. Countless beasts were skewered, collapsing in rows like wheat before a blade. But more monsters surged forward immediately. Every beast in the city seemed to be converging on us from all directions surrounding our position. The pressure was suffocating. With hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of monsters in this city, we would drop from sheer exhaustion before killing them all. I screamed at the top of my lungs to kill the leader first. I ordered Heiming to target the broodmother directly, and he instantly reacted. He spun around and sprinted across the bridge. A menacing aura radiated from the other side. The broodmother was waiting. as Heiming reached the far end. A massive, 40-foot dark red tentacle lashed out from the heavy mist, slamming into him and smashing him through several concrete buildings. He crashed 70 feet back before stopping. Heiming roared, blowing away the thick dust as he stood up from the shattered concrete and rubble. His cold slit eyes locked onto the nightmare. Standing 200 feet tall, the broodmother was a colossal eyeball covered in countless writhing pupils. Every single eye stared back at him. Black flames erupted from Heiming's body as he launched a relentless, high-speed head-on assault. His full-power charge shook the decaying buildings around them. The giant eyeball's pupils dilated in alarm, and 15 dark red tentacles lashed out. Heiming dodged what he could, but when there was no escape, he raised his massive claws, ready to clash with the incoming attack. He swung his glowing dark claws, but it sounded like metal, grinding on metal. Suddenly, one of the tentacles caught him off guard. The heavy blow sent him flying, erasing the distance he had fought so hard to close. Usually he relied on giant form's raw power to dominate. He would crush enemies in close-quarters combat, but against this constant knockback from the colossal eyeball, his normal tactics were useless. With a desperate roar, he unleashed his black flames at full power. Searing heat blasted in all directions as he charged once more. His mana drained rapidly as he bet everything on this final strike. Meanwhile, my chest tightened. Through our soul connection, I felt his life fading. His energy was dropping fast, but suddenly, Su Lingshu opened her eyes, which were glowing with a brilliant, freezing blue light. "Ready," she said. Frost mirrors shattered as freezing energy manifested into a 300-foot frost dragon, instantly freezing every single beast within a massive radius. Monsters shattered into millions of sparkling ice shards. Seizing the opening, I made a split-second decision to run toward the broodmother's location. Evolving Heiming was our only shot at survival. We sprinted to the city center, guided by a deafening roar echoing from up ahead. We rushed in and found Heiming battered and on the brink of death. Yet his sharp claws dug deep into the asphalt, refusing to retreat. Even as the tentacles lashed him, he slowly, resolutely pushed forward. Seeing this, I sprinted toward him, shouting, "Heiming, devour these beasts!" I immediately cast my recovery and buff spells on him. A soft white light enveloped his body, and his slit eyes burned with rage. Roaring, he shook off the dark red tentacles and dove back into the horde. Black flames bloomed around him like a dark lotus. Sensing danger, the giant eyeball ordered the beast to retreat, but it was too late. Torrential black flames consumed the surrounding horde. Devouring energy flooded into Heiming's body. Without a moment's hesitation, I tapped the screen to trigger his evolution. Massive dark power exploded. A pillar of pure darkness erupted from his core, piercing the heavy clouds above. His frame expanded dramatically, shattering his previous limits. System alerts flashed. Your summon, Heiming, has learned Swift Strike and unlocked a brand new talent. Diamond Body unlocked, all stats increased by 60 points. I breathed a sigh of relief. This was another massive overall upgrade. Looking completely reborn, Heiming stared down the giant eyeball. His razor-sharp fur shimmered with a golden light, exuding a majestic sovereign aura. The broodmother's eyes trembled violently. When that dark energy erupted, the sheer terror of his devour-all aura paralyzed the beast with raw fear. But panic quickly turned to primal rage. The monster believed it could also evolve by devouring, and that it alone was destined to rule. It lashed out with its massive tentacles, breaking the sound barrier. Yet Heiming stood like a mountain, completely unfazed by the onslaught. The tentacles struck his body, causing only a faint golden ripple. Combining gluttony and gigantification, his black flames erupted into a spectacular blaze. A towering 1,300-foot dark beast avatar materialized, instantly transforming the entire area into an endless sea of dark flames. Heiming lunged right in front of the massive eyeball. As he raised his claws, the gigantic phantom mirrored him, lifting its fiery claws. He slashed down, blinding the giant eye instantly and sending it into agonizing shrieks. Its tentacles whipped frantically, but they did nothing. Unharmed, the giant eye roared and absorbed the dark miasma into its body, causing its massive form to swell even further. Countless sharp spikes erupted from his massive dark red tentacles. It was a trump card he'd saved for his next evolution. But now he had to use it early. Dark red tentacles lunged at Heiming from all directions as they clashed in a frenzy. The ground shook violently as their roars shattered the sky. After hours of brutal combat, only Heiming stood amidst the ruins. The giant eyeball's pupils dimmed as black flames slowly consumed its body. Seeing this, Su Lingshu and I both shouted in excitement. Killing the Calamity Mother Beast and thousands of monsters meant our score would be insane. Then a system prompt chimed. The three of us vanished instantly. The system chimed, "Time's up. Calculating your score. Total kills 8,564 beasts. Calamity Mother Beast slain. Congratulations, rating perfect. Class advanced to Summoner Swordmaster. The system added, unique class born because of you. Congratulations on learning a new skill, Spectral Sword. I could condense a sword between reality and illusion. It ignores all physical defenses to inflict pure spiritual trauma. I stared at my status panel in shock. Directly attacking the soul. As long as the target lacks mental defense, this thing can instantly slash them to death. This skill is absolutely terrifying. A sword engraved with countless runes materialized in my hand, draining my mental energy as it condensed, draining me completely. I shook my head and dismissed the spectral sword. It's definitely a trump card. Smiling, I opened my phone. After accepting friend requests from Luo Xuan and Su Lingxiu, I saw a text from Lu Wen. Recruiters from the top academies were arriving today at 2 p.m. He wanted me at school. Having nothing else to do, I headed over. Lu Wen was already waiting. He rushed over the moment he spotted me at the gates. You're finally here. 5 top academies sent their recruiters to our school. This is unprecedented in our city's history. Following him into his office, Lu Wen pulled a dragon-shaped ring from his desk drawer. He said, this is the city's reward. It contains the gear and skill books you need. My eyes lit up. These were exactly what I needed. My common grade sword had already shattered from too many high-intensity battles. I took the ring and sent my mind inside. Instantly, 2 notifications popped up. Tianquan Sword Set. Heavenly Sword Form grants a massive stat boost. And Unbreakable Heavenly Armor Form grants wisdom. Aura continuously restores mental strength and boosts any skill's effect by 50%. The skill book was close at hand, allowing instant teleportation up to 100 meters. I was incredibly satisfied with this reward. Around 2 p.m., a black sedan arrived. 5 recruiters stepped out, and Principal Li Mingji hurried forward to greet them with deep respect. He didn't dare slack off. Top Academy recruiters were all Tier 5 class users. Even the mayor had to treat them with utmost respect. In the reception room, a relaxed Jifei sat down and casually asked, "Where is Chen Lin?" Just then, Lu Wen and I walked in. Jifei sized me up from head to toe. "Not bad. With looks like those, you belong in Skylark Academy." Sitting nearby, Feng Yi snapped in annoyance. Rumors are one thing, but does Skylark actually recruit based on looks? He then turned to offer me an olive branch. "Student Chen Lin, join Qingtian Academy. Instead, any resources you want are yours. Only 3 items for an admission gift. Are you insulting him? You're doubting the value of a top-tier champion. Exactly, he doesn't respect you, Chen Lin. Don't go there just to get looked down on." The scene left Li Mingji and Lu Wen completely stunned. The atmosphere grew tense. Whoever dared to make an offer first would be instantly ganged up on by the other 4. As chaos loomed, Jifei took a deep breath, looked at me, and said, "Now that you're Tier 1, you haven't summoned yet, right? Join Skylark, and I'll personally request the absolute best summoning materials for you. That black wolf of yours, Nightspot, has growth potential. Ask for any resources you need. I'll even throw in my daughter." Hearing this, the other recruiters fell silent. Even by their high standards, that was an insane offer. There were over 10 students with scores above 20,000. Spending too many resources here would make it hard to compete for others. Deciding it wasn't worth it, they gave up. I just shook my head. "But forget the daughter part." Jifei's expression softened in delight. "Fair enough, though if you like someone more mature, I'm actually available." I wanted to clarify, but stopped myself. In the end, I chose Skylark Academy. Not because Jifei was gorgeous, but mostly because she offered way too much. With the recruitment finished, they left. Soon school started. Saying goodbye to my mom and sister, I boarded the plane. Skylark Academy was located in Zhongtian. Countless top-tier students from all over the country had gathered here. I randomly picked a dorm room and walked in. It was fully furnished with everything I needed. Just then, my custom communicator chimed with a notification. It was from Jifei. "Your summoning materials are approved. Let me know if you need anything else. I'll do my best to apply for you." Back in her office, Jifei leaned into her chair. Beside her, Wu Yue looked puzzled. "We had enough resources to recruit 4 provincial champions. This is way beyond Chen Lin's worth. Frankly, he doesn't deserve what we offered." Jifei just smiled. "The freshman tournament is tomorrow. We'll see then." Back in my room, I arranged the summoning materials on the floor. I reached my hand out into the void. As I cast the summoning spell, blinding white light flooded the room. Minutes later, there appeared a 60-centimeter silver butterfly with 2 pairs of fluttering wings. I twitched. Please tell me this isn't another useless weakling. My mouth twitched slightly as I checked its status panel. At level 1, my summon only had 1 strength, 1 constitution, 1 agility, and 1 magic. With total stats of only 4, it was even weaker than my starting black ant. I shook my head. This officially set a brand new low for the weakest summon in history. But it didn't matter. I was going to give it infinite potential. Watching the silver butterfly slowly flutter toward me, I reached out my finger to let it land and scan it. Initial loyalty was 100% guaranteeing absolute devotion. When prompted to establish a life bond, I hit confirm, and a sudden sharp pain tore through my very soul. As agonizing pain ripped from deep within my soul, a system notification popped up. Congratulations. Your summon has awakened the SSS grade unique talent, Myriad Transformations. Myriad Transformations. This talent allowed it to transform into any form to gain different abilities. Right then, the silver butterfly dissolved into glowing light, morphed into my exact copy, and spoke in a dazed voice. Master, after some basic analysis, I have finally realized the true power of Myriad Transformations, it said blankly. I opened up my storage chest, revealing piece after piece of heavy armor. Battle armor. I gestured toward the silver butterfly while focusing my mind to connect with it. Nodding gently, it dissolved into a soft glow that wrapped around my hand and arm. Instantly, a magnificent silver armor materialized, slowly spreading to cover my entire body. I didn't feel any discomfort or heavy weight at all. It was as if this armor, was actually a natural part of my own body. Nodding with absolute satisfaction, I realized Myriad Transformations could also absorb metals to increase its defense and hardness. This meant, without a doubt, no doubt, just like Gluttony, this was an insanely broken talent that allowed endless growth. With this in mind, I decided to level up the silver butterfly first, so I messaged Jifei to request metal materials with special properties. In just half an hour, a delivery notification popped up, notifying me of their arrival. These were rare metals, each possessing completely different and unique attributes, and they all belonged to the category of highly precious top-tier resources. Back in my room, I immediately let the silver butterfly begin fusing with them. Very soon, the armor covering. My body grew incredibly tough, to the point where even a second transition professional couldn't break my defense. Meanwhile, the armor's total weight soared to an astounding 5 tons, though it had 0 effect on me. But if that weight crashed onto an enemy, it would feel like Mount Tai crushing them. In the living room, my 3 roommates looked surprised to hear the commotion. One of them stepped forward and introduced himself. Hi there, I'm Feng Ye, 2nd place in Qingyuan province. Getting the provincial top score with just a common class is quite something. Is it really that impressive? Isn't it just pure luck from landing 1 overpowered summon? Asked another guy with a cold expression, his tone dripping with absolute disdain. He was the runner-up of Longji province with an exam score of 23,000. In his arrogant eyes, I had only secured 1st place because my home province completely lacked top-tier geniuses. He clearly thought of me as a monkey, acting like a king when the tiger was away. Feng Ye smiled faintly and said, Personally, I think making a powerful summon respond to your call is proof enough that Ximan has something truly special about him. Just as a heated argument was about to erupt, a booming voice suddenly echoed across the entire academy grounds. All new students gather your weapons and equipment and assemble at Skylark Square immediately. It seemed the freshman tournament was starting a full half-month earlier than scheduled. Zhao Yang, who was lounging on the sofa, chimed in. And with the rising number of mutated beasts outside the city, the Academy likely wants us to take over the cleanup duty. Hearing this, I fell silent as my mind drifted back to the world inside my job transition dungeon. I never expected Blue Star to face the same crisis so soon. While I quietly pondered this, the cold guy's arrogant voice snapped me back to reality. Starting early is perfect. I hope I get to crush you into the dirt, just to prove that I am the one who actually deserves the top spot. Seeing his smug attitude, I smirked. Fine, let's see who is better, but I'll definitely be the one who crushes everyone else under my feet. Meanwhile, crowds of new students gathered at Skylark Square. The head instructor sighed, noting that to reach the top they had to go outside the city to hunt mutant beasts forced to grow rapidly under the constant threat of death. Behind him, his secretary nodded and spoke up while checking her tablet. The freshman competition scheduled for 2 weeks from now starts today. All of you will enter a level 20 to 30 large-scale Dungeon Rift Canyon. This grand tournament will decide your future resource allocation. Following her announcement, the massive dungeon portal slowly creaked open, releasing a chilling aura that swept across the entire field. Some students felt their legs turn to jelly, their lips trembling. Is this a joke? I haven't even had my first transition yet? How do we fight? Meanwhile, Luoxuan scanned the crowd anxiously, searching for someone. His eyes soon locked onto me, his absolute favorite powerhouse. I noticed the towering Luoxuan jogging over in a rush, bringing along a short-haired, delicate young girl with him. As they approached, I recalled him saying he wanted to team up with me. I had brushed it off as a joke, but he was actually serious. "This is my sister, Luoning," he introduced. My expression turned wry as I replied, "Hi, Luoning." The timid girl quickly hid behind her brother, whispering softly. I sighed helplessly and sent them a party invitation. Seeing me group up with others and take on extra weight, the cold guy frowned. Right before entering the dungeon, he tossed me a frigid sneer. "Don't lose too badly, Ximan." I didn't even bother to respond. In an instant, the three of us vanished into thin air. Soon, all the students had entered the dungeon. Outside, an instructor waved his hand to cast a massive water screen projection. The Rift Canyon stretched across hundreds of kilometers, resembling a vast, sprawling labyrinth. The three of us had barely stepped inside when a ferocious roar echoed ahead. Perfect time to test my current strength. With a quick thought, I instantly summoned my silver butterfly. With a flash of white light, the silver armor enveloped my entire body in seconds. I gripped my right hand instantly, summoning the skyward sword into my palm. I drew the silver blade from my back and stomped on the ground, my figure instantly reappearing right in front of the monster, dozens of meters away. We were practically nose to nose. A skill originally meant for saving my life was used simply to close the gap. I swung my blade instantly, slicing through my target as smoothly as a hot knife through butter. The blade flashed across several monsters' bodies. Without slowing down, I dissolved into a blur of afterimages, slicing right through them in the blink of an eye. The monsters collapsed with stunned, bewildered looks before they could even react. Witnessing this, Luoxuan yelled in pure excitement, "Man, you are an absolute beast. We didn't even have to lift a finger, and our experience is skyrocketing." This is the absolute joy of riding a powerhouse's coattails. Outside the instructors, watching the live feed, were completely dumbfounded. This speed and raw damage are almost on par with a hidden melee class. These base stats make absolutely no sense. Even if Ximan had already completed a second transition, it would still be impossible. And to possess this level of close combat power. After a moment of careful reflection, another instructor spoke up. Could that silver butterfly actually be Ximan's second summon? That would make so much sense. A summon that morphs into a weapon unheard of. Even the seasoned dean looked stunned, watching Jifei's smug grin. But he shook his head. Right now, a dozen people outscore Ximan. Team farming yields too little. At this rate, his top scorer title is history. He is your future son-in-law, you know. What do you gain if he loses face? Just as Jifei finished speaking, a slap hit his head. The dean stood there, completely exasperated. Meanwhile, inside the dungeon, my silver armor was already soaked in blood. I was one-shotting these level 20 monsters. My power had clearly reached the peak of the second transition. Even against a third transition opponent, I could easily escape unharmed. Right then, countless dark thoughts flooded my mind, trying to force me to end my own life. Seeing me freeze, Luoxuan panicked, telling Xiaoning to quickly shut down her domain. Knowing her talent was dangerous, Luoning flusteredly pulled it back. I smiled to reassure her that it was perfectly fine. None of this could affect me anyway. I checked my tracker and saw only 120 points. This speed was way too slow. To grow stronger quickly, I had to take first place and secure the Academy's resources. Both Silver Disc and Black Name needed a massive amount of funding. With a simple thought, a bright flash of white light revealed a massive, savage, demonic wolf. A blood-curdling howl echoed through the canyon. Seeing Black Name for the first time, Luoning shrieked and hid behind my back. I looked at Black Name and An gave him a clear order. Go devour every single monster in this canyon. Hearing the command, Black Name's eyes turned fierce, and instantly, before long, the tracker on my wrist kept chiming as my score rapidly climbed. I headed down another path to farm points from both sides. In the distance, a girl summoned a dark red lightning dragon, slamming it down. The earth shattered on impact. Dark red lightning exploded across 100 meters, obliterating every monster. The girl smirked, claiming that these weaklings can't even take a single hit. Seeing her sister lose it again, Luolan sighed helplessly. Suddenly, a terrifying pressure surged forward with burning heat. Before Luolan could even react, Luo Hongying's eyes flared with intense battle lust, her dark red lightning erupting instantly. A massive black rock wolf charged toward them. Just locking eyes with its slit pupils sent shivers down her spine, but Luo Hongying quickly grinned like a maniac and lunged at the beast. Seeing her sister charge in headfirst, Luolan reacted instantly, knowing exactly what to do. She quickly cast several strength buffs and barriers. With her power doubled, she could hold her own even against a Tier 3 boss. The moment they clashed, a massive shockwave exploded outward in all directions, but as the dust settled, she saw a gold shield fade, leaving the giant black wolf completely unscathed. Luo Hongying froze. That attack carried Tier 3 power. How was he completely fine? Black Name stared coldly at the human who had attacked him out of nowhere. Swiping his massive claws with devastating force, he shattered her shields. The protective barriers shattered instantly, sending Luo Hongying flying backward. Terrified, Luolan quickly clasped her hands together to cast her ultimate. A massive, holy phantom materialized in the air. The six-winged guardian angel had descended, activating her SSS-rank talent, Angelic Grace. A golden barrier rose to shield them. Luolan screamed for her sister to retreat, but before she could finish, the giant wolf stepped forward and raised his claws. A dark light flashed, tearing the golden barrier to shreds. He gave them a cold look, then walked right past them without another glance. Outside, the arena fell dead silent. Every mentor, including the dean, was completely speechless. Could a rookie summoner who changed classes just days ago really possess such terrifying power? This was completely beyond the limits of a Tier 2. Witnessing this absurd combat power, only one phrase came to everyone's mind: absolutely peerless, a once-in-a-generation monster. Staring at the smug Jifei, Jiang Wuyue was absolutely shell-shocked. How did he actually pull off a gamble with such impossible odds? Was Ximan truly a genius? Over the next 10 hours, Black Name slaughtered over 10,000 monsters, even taking down 3 Tier 3 bosses. He was only 1,300 points away from his next evolution. All this after just half a day, though evolving would only get harder. Meanwhile, Luo Xuan and Luo Ning were thrilled, having never leveled up so easily without lifting a finger. I smiled and checked my score. My points had reached 34,000. As Black Name returned, after clearing another area, I casually cast a quick healing spell on him. Soon the time limit expired. Enveloped in white light, we teleported back to the square, immediately drawing countless shocked stares from the crowd. Many students looked completely battered. One arrogant guy slammed his fist on the ground in total humiliation. Despite his full power, a black wolf had effortlessly swiped him into near death. Just then, the dean's secretary announced, "I will now read the official student leaderboard. First place, Ximan, 34,500 points. Hearing this, the arrogant guy's eyes widened, and he whipped his head toward the holographic screen. There it was, my score sitting at the very top, leading by a massive margin. Second place was a joke, trailing far behind at only 10,300 points. This is impossible, the guy muttered, convinced it was a glitch. He wasn't the only one doubting the results. Everyone found it bizarre that even the top prodigies had such low scores. Sensing their confusion, the secretary quickly stepped up to explain. That giant black wolf you all ran into is actually Ximan's summon. Anyone who tried to block his path was instantly swiped into near death. A wave of absolute shock washed over the crowd. Standing on the stage, the secretary announced, "The freshman tournament is officially over. Your rewards have been sent to your student accounts. You are dismissed." When I returned to my villa and pushed open the door, I saw... He looked a bit awkward. Hesitating, he took a deep breath and said, "A package arrived, your second batch of materials. I was afraid you weren't around, so I moved them to your room." I blinked, then smiled. "Thanks." He muttered, "Sure." Back in my room, I opened the large black chest. This batch of rare gold ornaments was even larger. If Silver Disc fuses them, its defense will be so tough that even Heiming couldn't scratch it. Plus, I might gain special traits, making me truly invincible. My combat power will be absolutely terrifying. I refuse to be a fragile summoner hiding in the back. That weakness is way too obvious. Any enemy could easily take me out. 10 minutes later, Silver Disc finished absorbing the gold. Now, its sheer durability is unbreakable even for a Tier 3 expert. It weighs 13 tons now. With our shared strength, a single punch could shatter the ground. Just then, my 50,000 credits for being the top freshman arrived. After a quick thought, I spent them all buying dozens of premium domestic resources. Once they were delivered, I dumped everything onto the floor and immediately summoned Heiming to feed him. Instantly, a warm rush of energy surged through me, feeling amazing. Heiming's size also began to expand, reaching 40 meters in minutes. Since I became a summoning swordsman, each level up grants me an extra 5 strength points. I have completely broken the summoner build. Instead of a squishy backliner, I'm now a terrifying frontline offensive powerhouse. Today is our official first day. All 4 of my roommates got assigned to Class 1. On the way, I ran into Luo Xuan and Luo Ning. Walking into class, I noticed everyone staring. They were still visibly shaken by how I crushed everyone with just one of my summons. Something like that had never happened before. Just then, the stunningly beautiful twins Luo Hongying and Luo Lan walked in and looked around. They sat down right in front of me. A moment later, our tall instructor Ji-Fei walked in, scanned the room, and spoke up. "I'm Ji-Fei, your new homeroom teacher. Don't bother me unless it's absolutely necessary. I'm too lazy to care." Then his expression turned serious. "You're all top geniuses from your provinces here for better resources, but I have some bad news for you. The alien races have spent decades planning. Their advantage is growing, and soon they will completely break through our defensive lines." Shock and disbelief filled the room. Society was running perfectly, entertainment was booming, and everything seemed peaceful on the surface. The media kept saying things were getting better. No bad news ever leaked online, but now we're being told that disaster is imminent. Seeing everyone's pure shock and confusion, Ji-Fei spoke up slowly. "Don't you find it strange that you almost never see any powerhouse above Tier 5 in public? Even the military guarding this entire province only has Tier 4 fighters at best." Everyone thought about it and realized he was right. Powerful Tier 5 combatants shouldn't be everywhere, but they definitely shouldn't be this rare. You couldn't even find one online. Suddenly, a chilling realization hit us. Most graduates from these elite academies are at least Tier 4. Almost all of them have gone straight to the front lines, trading their lives for our peace at home. To prevent widespread panic, governments heavily censor this information, leaving ordinary civilians completely in the dark about the war. Now the threat is growing. The mutated beast populations are swelling, and if we don't call them soon, the enemy will launch a preemptive strike. Ji-Fei looked at us. The time has come for us to step up. Every academy is sending their brightest talents to military bases to cull the beasts. Now whoever is willing to volunteer, stand up. The second he said those words, the classroom filled with the loud scraping sound of scraping chairs. Naturally, I didn't hesitate for a single second. Seeing me stand, Luo Xuan and Luo Ning rose immediately. Facing the beasts was inevitable anyway. This just moved up the timeline. Soon, only half the class was still sitting. Ji-Fei smirked. Having half the class volunteer already exceeded his expectations. "All right, everyone, move out to the military base." A chubby kid who remained seated gasped. "Wait, us too?" "Yes, everyone in this class is a top-tier genius. You're all going." The military only wanted to see who would step forward first to mark them for special training. Ji-Fei's face was completely blank. "If you lack the courage, there's always a second option: drop out of Yunke Academy." Instantly, half of the hesitating students stood up. Ji-Fei then led us outside where dozens of massive transport trucks stood waiting with heavily armed soldiers standing guard. As we boarded, the once lively campus fell completely silent. Inside the quiet truck, Ji-Fei picked up a file and spoke. "We're heading to the Hingduan military base. It's located 900 kilometers from Zhongtian City, right in front of the massive Balian mountain range. According to intelligence, the outer perimeter alone has tens of thousands of level 10 to 30 mutated beasts. Deeper and level 40 to 50 beasts are everywhere. You will only be clearing the outer areas. Our military relied on advanced tech to hold them off, but recently their attacks have grown far more aggressive. They're hitting us day and night from all sides. The front lines simply don't have spare forces to help us." After a while, the heavy troop carrier ground to a halt. As the massive steel hatches slid open, several soldiers in black combat gear seemed to be waiting just for them. The soldiers offered a sharp collective salute, which stirred something deep in everyone's hearts. Shaking off their lazy slumps, Ji-Fei walked up. "Everyone follow me to the mission hub." Along the way, everyone's eyes wandered. The military base was massive, heavily fortified with gun turrets lining the perimeter. Soon we arrived at the mission counter. A female soldier handed out black smart wristbands to everyone. They looked like the trackers from our exams, but now had built-in maps and mission logs. There was also a distress button. One tap notified the base instantly. They'd dispatch help immediately. Nearby allies would also get an alert to rush to your aid. "Welcome to Xiaowai. I am glad to assist you. For today's mutant beast cleanup, every cadet must accept at least one mission. You have not met today's quota. Please accept one immediately." I strode over to the screen displaying countless quests and scanned them. I figured I'd play it safe with a few basic Tier 3 missions. Suddenly, I felt eyes staring at me. I whipped around to see Luo Xuan and Luo Ning, who'd trailed me here, looking at me pitifully. "With your strength, you'll struggle out in the wild. Let's stick together." I smiled, bound to protect them. They nodded, eagerly, gratitude overflowing from their eyes. Seeing this, Feng Ye, who wanted to invite Luo Ning, froze. Suddenly feeling cringed, she muttered, "Forget twins, he won't even spare a Lolit." She then turned to Li Zhongfeng. It's dangerous out there. Let's watch each other's backs. She tried to sound caring, masking her annoyance. Get lost, find someone else, Li Zhongfeng scoffed. He locked in his quest and left with a support girl, Chao Yang. Tried speaking, but Chao Yang cut her off. You're a hidden combat class, don't be a wimp. Go find some reliable teammates. Worst case hit distress. If we're nearby, we'll collect your body. Feng Ye felt surrounded by sheer malice. Soon I picked 3 quests hunting down a frenzied black ape, a double-toothed tiger, and a blood crocodile 200 kilometers away. Their exact locations had been mapped out by array-modified micro-drones carrying magical eyes of observation during a sweep. Since these beasts are highly territorial, they rarely stray. For this cleanup, the military bases made sure to make ample preparations, making the hunt safer and smoother. Naturally, cadet safety was still a priority, so everyone heading out received 3 high-explosive grenades and a heavy pistol with 7 armor-piercing rounds, enough to injure beasts up to level 20. Having 0 shooting skills, I only took the grenades. Besides, my punches are stronger than any armor-piercing round anyway. I drove my team straight into the Balian Mountains and summoned my battle armor. Just then, my wristband chimed. Would you like Xiaowai to turn on the flashlight? Yes, I replied. A bright beam cut through the dark. Meanwhile, inside the command center, officers grew tense as they monitored our coordinates. We were heading straight into a level 30-plus danger zone. A middle-aged major general named Chen Sheng barked, "Why aren't they stopping? Check their active missions now." The female operator tapped her console frantically, her voice trembling. They're hunting a level 33 frenzied ape and a level 36 double-toothed tiger and a level 39 bloody crocodile. These are tier 3 missions, the last is almost tier 4. Are they insane? Yang Xiao rubbed his temples. So this is Yunke Academy's star freshman, he's level 16. How does he dare take missions 2 tiers above his rank? It's suicide, yet geniuses who step up despite the danger rarely betray humanity. Headstrong as he is, we can't abandon him. Dispatch 4 gunships to shadow them. If things go south, rescue them immediately. Yang Xiao sighed deeply. Compared to the others, their Hengshan base was lagging behind. Suddenly, my wristband chimed. Warning now, entering the habitat of the target frenzied black ape. The very next second, a giant serpent burst through the brush, its massive body 4 meters thick and dozens of meters long. It lunged, fangs bared its giant maw, about to swallow me whole. I spun, grabbing its fangs. Backed by superhuman strength and a 13-ton impact weight, the serpent's fangs shattered, instantly spraying blood. It recoiled in agony, but I didn't give it a second to breathe. Slamming my foot down, I blurred forward. A single punch shattered its spine, leaving the giant beast screaming. Terror filled its cold eyes as it tried to flee, but I dragged it right back. The snake thrashed in panic, shaking the earth, but it was useless. My fist smashed straight into its skull, shattering the skull completely. Grabbing its jaws with both hands, I ripped the massive serpent in half. This brutal display left Luo Xuan and Luo Ning trembling. Meanwhile, the command center fell into dead silence. Shocked eyes everywhere. This is insane. He's only level 16, yet he's going toe-to-toe with a level 29 mammoth. What kind of monster is he? Yang Xiao lowered his head, staring at the file in his hands. It clearly showed his class as a summoner. No mistake there. Suddenly, a roar shattered the silence through the screen. Everyone tensed up as a massive 50-meter-tall ape appeared. With bulging muscles, the giant ape leapt down from the mountainside. Woken by the battle, it charged in a pure rage. An officer gasped in terror. This is bad. It's a frenzied black ape. How did it reach level 34? For mutated beasts, every 10 levels is an evolution. It could easily crush a mammoth with its bare fists. Yang Xiao shook his head. Very few humans in the world could pull off such a massive level gap victory. His hand gripped the radio, ready to call in the surrounding military helicopters the second things went south. Before I could even gather my loot, a massive, bloodthirsty shadow lunged at me from the sky. Its massive fist slammed down. Unfazed, I drew my combat saber and slashed directly against its rock-hard skin. A shockwave blasted outward, but my silver shield absorbed the impact. The ape roared again, its massive body suddenly ballooning until it stood 70 meters tall. It swatted at me like a fly, but I instantly teleported right above its head. I brought my blade down, triggering a point-blank skill. What was meant to be a life-saving move was now my gap closer. The strike flashed like starlight, hitting the back of its head, but it only left a shallow half-meter gash. Howling in pain, the giant beast spun around, swinging its massive arms wildly. I slipped through its attacks, closing the distance once more. I struck the same wound repeatedly. Angered, the ape stomped its massive foot, sending shockwaves ripping through the shattered earth. But I had already blinked 50 feet away. It seemed even a 13-ton razor-sharp blade couldn't easily bring this beast down. This was my physical limit. I stopped holding back. Instantly, a spectral sword, half real and half illusion, materialized in my hand. Mysterious white runes pulsed along the blade. In a split second, my mental energy was completely drained dry. My head throbbed. Time to show me what you've got on your debut. I slowly raised my hand, and the ape's hair stood on end. A cold shudder ran through its brain, sensing an invisible lethal threat. Panicking, the beast lunged forward to crush me, but my hand was already down. The soul blade sliced clean through its giant frame. Without warning, the mountain of a beast collapsed, kicking up dust. Its flesh was unharmed, but its spirit, ours, was completely shattered. One shot. I sheathed my sword. Seeing the fight end, the distant backup helicopters quietly turned back. The entire command center fell dead silent. Everyone stared at the screen, unable to process what they just saw. Yang Xiao pondered, realizing it was a rare soul strike skill. But what truly blew him away was my insane combat power. I had crossed an 18-level gap to take down that beast completely unscathed. And this wasn't just some desperate one-time burst, but my normal, everyday combat state. That was the scariest part. Most geniuses who jump a tier always rely on ultimate moves or temporary buffs, not a sustained state. The difference between us was night and day. If I could maintain this baseline while leaping 2 whole tiers, I would become an absolute nightmare for the aliens. This realization made Yang Xiao's heart race. He slipped away from the command deck and locked himself in a small room and activated several cloaking arrays. He dialed his secure radio. Brother Zhang, we found an absolute monster at Hengshan. He's too strong. I'm heavily injured right now, and I can't protect him. 30 minutes later, a heavy voice replied, "Explain." Let's put it this way. If you and I teamed up, he'd still grind our faces into the dirt. Silence followed. Then we are in trouble. The aliens will target him. We can't let them kill him. Yang Xiao sighed helpless. He crushed me easily, but against you, who knows? The voice replied, I'll bring this to the other thrones. Meanwhile, Nade Lucian stared at the massive corpse in awe, shouting, Brother man, you took down a level 34 beast without your summon. I smiled, summoning the 40-meter-tall Heiming with a thought to devour the 2 beast carcasses. Soon his evolution bar only crept up by 0.2, still far from 1200. I hesitated, then took out the crystals from my previous kills and tossed them into the dark flames. Each crystal gave at least 1 full point. My eyes brightened. This was the shortcut to level him up fast. I led the team deeper. Half an hour later, a 30-meter tiger with massive fangs lunged out, but before it could attack, Heiming unleashed a wave of terrifying pressure. The tiger froze as the ground shattered. Heiming blinked in front of it, slamming down a brutal bone-shattering claw. The beast was sent flying, crashing through several massive trees. But before it could even process the agonizing pain, Heiming materialized right in front of it again. This time, dark fire cloaked his claws, radiating an absolute terror that paralyzed the tiger's mind. It stood no chance against Heiming's speed. In just a matter of seconds, the giant tiger was completely devoured by pitch-black flames. This brutal scene terrified even headquarters. Those beastly eyes, even through a screen, made them sweat all over, feeling like they would die any second. Yang Xiao smiled bitterly, feeling completely surpassed by the younger generation. The 3 of them and the beast traveled through the mountains. An hour later, they entered the territory of level 30 mutant beasts. But with Heiming's terrifying presence, no mutant beast dared to draw close. Suddenly, a massive crocodile, covered in blood-red scales measuring a full 100 meters, suddenly snapped open its crimson-slitted eyes. A terrifyingly brutal aura erupted, warning the intruders who had dared step into its territory. Heiming instantly bared his fangs. A violently savage aura exploded from his body, dwarfing the crocodile's presence. In the next split second, his size ballooned, rapidly stretching to nearly 300 meters. Feeling completely overshadowed, the furious crocodile charged every single step, shaking the ground beneath them. Heiming erupted in pitch-black flames, sharp claws gleaming dark light as a golden aura slowly rose over his fur. This golden light radiated absolute, unshakable power. The crocodile snapped its massive jaws open, revealing rows of razor-sharp, lethal teeth. But biting down on that golden light, it couldn't close its mouth at all. Heiming just stared coldly, then raised a massive claw and slashed down. Instantly, blood-red scales tore away in a bloody, mangled mess. Roaring in pain, the crocodile swung its massive, heavy snout, whipping up a violent gales toward Heiming. Deep gouges plowed into the dirt as Heiming barely held his ground, but the crocodile immediately lunged, clamping its jaws onto Heiming and dragging him down into the lake behind them. A massive, towering wall of water splashed into the sky. At the bottom of the lake, the two beasts fought savagely, churning the water into mud, yet Heiming's black flames burned just as bright, sending the water temperature soaring. Despite its environmental advantage, the crocodile was utterly dominated, even activating its strength talent as bloody light surged. It couldn't land a single scratch. Within minutes, the lake's water level had dropped significantly. Suddenly, the surface ruptured, and a massive black wolf leaped out. Stretching nearly 300 meters, his colossal size was pure pressure wrapped in a savage aura that made everyone tremble. Though Heiming would never hurt them, Luo Xuan and Luo Ning couldn't suppress the sheer terror rising in their chests. As for the giant crocodile, it had been eaten alive, not a single scrap remaining. Right then, the smart assistant on my wrist chimed all missions completed. Please return to the base to submit. By the time the three of us returned to Hengshan base, it was 1 a.m. I headed straight to the counter. I found a female clerk to hand in the quest. She looked at me in disbelief. Did you really finish this? I nodded and showed her the video. It took her a moment to recover. That is 200 contribution points. Since you teamed up, how should we divide it? Following her advice, I transferred the shares to both of them. Looking at Luo Xuan and Luo Ning, I realized they weren't gaining anything or getting any real training by following me. It was time to find them a more suitable team. Shortly after I walked out, a new line of text suddenly flashed on the Submission Center's main board. Yunke Academy Freshman, Level 16 Summoner. 100 contribution points, ranked 1,245. And it wasn't just here at Hengshan Base. Every other base displayed the same notice simultaneously. At that moment, students hanging around the desks stared in absolute shock. Who is this guy? 100 points in one go. He must have cleared at least 2 Tier 3 quests. I'm a freshman too, and my points are still in the single digits. Same here. I only dare take Tier 1 quests. Those beasts are terrifying, even with the level advantage I get. Dominated. Right now, most sophomores and juniors only had a few dozen points. Freshmen with double-digit scores were incredibly rare, let alone reaching 100. Everyone was shocked because at only level 16, this freshman had somehow bypassed 2 full tiers to slay 2 level 30 mutant beasts. Over at Luoxiang Base, Feng Yi was discussing how to hunt down the outer, level 60 behemoths. Suddenly his eyes caught the leaderboard. He froze. How is that possible? Hearing his gasp, several instructors looked over. Old Feng, do you know this kid? A freshman hitting 100 points on the very first day is pretty absurd, right? Feng Yi nodded. That's the recruit I was regretting earlier. Jifei simply offered too much back then. Otherwise, he might have joined our Beilong Academy. The instructors realized he was the top scorer of the entrance exam, but someone quickly shook their head. He must have teamed up with Strong. Upperclassmen, there is no way he did this alone. Relying on others like this isn't ideal. This entire cleanup operation is meant to prevent riots and temper our students. Exactly. Times are tough, so focusing on actual strength should be the priority. Chasing leaderboard ranks purely for show does nothing. The instructors shook their heads and Feng Yi sighed deeply. He had high hopes, but now he felt quite disappointed. Just then, he looked at a young man in black nearby and smiled. Yunshu finished your task. Hearing this, Xiao Yongshu walked over. Yes, Instructor Feng, I killed 2 level 27 beasts. I would have returned earlier, but on my way back, I ran into a level 33 armored lizard. Took some real effort to put it down. His voice was calm, as if this were a completely minor detail. Feng Yi's cheek twitched, genuinely impressed. Incredible. Defeating a level 33 at only level 17. Your generation is packed with geniuses. Xiao Yunshu smirked, radiating absolute confidence. Do not worry, Instructor. This may be a golden age of geniuses, but I am invincible. I will crush all rivals and claim humanity's throne. He peeked at the instructors, only to find them covering their faces in silent embarrassment. Suddenly, his eyes hit the giant screen and his confident smile froze. He couldn't believe it. Absolutely impossible. How could someone be more monstrous? 100 contribution points. Even with his heavy lizard kill, he couldn't match that. It wasn't even close. Seeing Xiao Yunshu questioning his life, Feng Yi said helplessly, We discussed this. It is likely the result of an old veteran carrying him, so do not worry. Xiao Yunshu breathed a sigh of relief, though his joy of finishing his second advancement instantly vanished. Hurriedly, bidding farewell to Feng Yi, he resolutely walked into the pitch-black mountains. Meanwhile, I returned to my dorm to join my roommates for some barbecue, entrusting Luo Xuan and Luo Ning to their team. The next day at 9, I went to the quest board. and chose 2 difficult Tier 4 quests. Once I entered the mountains, the female officer yelled to Yang Xiao. He accepted a difficult Tier 4 mission. Hearing this, Yang Xiao gasped in shock. Skipping 2 tiers was not enough. This kid wants to skip 3 A Tier 4. Corresponds to beasts above level 40. This is a massive divide. Even an attack helicopter emptying its ammo wouldn't scratch its skin. Notify the instructors of Skylark Academy. Have someone follow him. I am afraid Chen Lin might get into trouble. The officer replied. The female officer quickly got to work. Soon the message was sent via smart wristband to the 3 Skylark instructors at the Hengshan base. Upon receiving it, they discussed and decided to send Jiang Wuyue. If Chen Lin pressed for help, she could rescue him immediately. Meanwhile, through the dense giant trees and vines, a massive black wolf sprinted. Within an hour, it arrived at the target location. There, a massive level 44 3-headed serpent hissed a menacing warning. I silently stretched out my hand, unleashing a mysterious force. As I slowly raised and gestured my hand downward, the serpent's eyes shrank as it sensed an impending lethal threat. In the next second, its left head let out a shriek and collapsed lifelessly. The other 2 heads nudged it in panic. Finding it completely unresponsive, they were terrified. I immediately ordered Heiming to charge and attack. Receiving the command, Heiming roared as his body ballooned to nearly 300 meters covered in raging pitch-black flames. Facing this terrifying aura, the serpent spewed purple venom. Heiming tanked it head-on, baring his fangs to bite the middle head. He slammed it to the ground, rolling in fury. Seeing its counterpart being torn apart, the other head roared and lunged, sinking its fangs deep into Heiming's flesh. Instantly, deadly venom surged through his bloodstream, heading straight for his vital organs. But his buffed stats resisted the poison. With a flash of black light, he swatted the head away. Right then, I drew my celestial sword, vanishing instantly, only to reappear right in front of the beast. I plunged the blade deep into its eye. The serpent shrieked in agony. At that moment, a massive paw, burning with black flames, slammed down, burying the beast into the earth. But its 30-meter-thick tail whipped up a howling gale, slamming toward me. I raised my blade, and a white shockwave exploded. My body crashed into the ground like a missile. Seeing this, Heiming went ballistic, his black-cloaked claws tearing through the air. He ripped through its tough hide like paper, carving out wounds meters deep. Then he spun around and locked his jaws onto the other head, tearing wildly to rip it off. The 200-meter beasts thrashed together in a frenzy. Dirt exploded and giant trees collapsed. I stood up from the dust, completely unharmed. My silver butterfly armor is incredibly reliable. Watching the beast clash, I sat on a rock nearby. Now Heiming just had to wear it down. Suddenly, close by, a tall woman in white armor approached silently. I quickly gripped my combat blade, a silver flash erupting as I swung, only to stop in surprise. My instructor, Jiang Wuyue, nodded with slight shock. Even she could feel the heavy force needing effort to block it as a level 59 professional. Instructor, why are you here? I asked her. Jiang Wuyue calmly withdrew, her trembling fingers saying flatly, just passing by, I heard the commotion. Suddenly, the 30-meter snake head slammed down. With a deafening crash, dust billowed as the giant head fell. A fierce roar echoed for miles. Heiming stood victoriously atop the serpent's corpse, black flames devouring it into energy and evolution points. His massive 300-meter body looked like a true apocalyptic beast. Jiang Wuyue watched in awe. Even from afar, the violent aura that seemed ready to swallow all life made her feel numb. Meanwhile, headquarters was in an uproar. A gap of 28 levels, skipping 3 full tiers. He actually did it. Oh my god, this power is insane. I think he is even stronger than that triple S talent monster. Even Yang Xiao was thrilled. Countless dark flame sparks drifted into Heiming's body, and his massive form rapidly shrank as he lay down by my side to rest. After Jiang Wuyue checked on me, she left. I mapped my route and rode Heiming forward. Devouring the snake and its life crystal, Heiming grew another meter. His evolution value increased by 10 points. At this rate, he could evolve again in just 4 or 5 days. This evolution would elevate his life tier to reach a new level, and fully upgrade his talent to king grade, making his power even more terrifying. Just then, a thunderous roar echoed nearby. A wild bellow echoed as a massive bull charged out its body, covered in thick, rock-solid, dark yellow scales. Its twin horns stretched over 30 meters, cracking the ground with every step. My second target, the level 45 horned bull. Without hesitating, I instantly cast my buff. Heiming roared, his massive body ballooning as dark flames exploded around him. Golden light flared as he unleashed his full power. Right then, the rampaging bull charged, slamming its sharp horns into Heiming. Heiming braced with his front claws to block the brutal impact, but the force shoved him back, carving deep grooves in the dirt. In seconds, the beast barreled thousands of meters away. Drones sped up to keep track while Yang Xiao spoke up at command. Send a warning. Get the students out of their path. Ximan's summon won't pull any punches to avoid them. The female officer nodded. On screen, Heiming thrust out his black-cloaked claws. With a massive surge of strength, he flipped the colossal bull onto the ground. Dust billowed as a squad of 5 ran for their lives. Pushing a safe distance away, they looked back completely paralyzed with shock. So that is why Command wanted us out. We got lucky. But wait, that bull is level 45. How is the other beast only level 16? No way in hell that thing is level 16. The 5 stared in disbelief as a nearby instructor noticed the commotion. She moved to intervene, but Zhang Wuyue silently stepped in her path. Don't worry, he said, that is my academy freshman summon. The instructor froze in absolute shock. A freshman. You've got to be kidding me, seeing her jaw drop. Zhang Wuyue let out a faint, smug smile. Yeah, he is pretty outstanding, he said flatly. The instructor stood there speechless. Outstanding. He is a monster. A freshman with 4th-tier power is unheard of. Is this the true strength of a top-tier academy? She looked on with mixed emotions. Is he your student? Zhang Wuyue cleared his throat and muttered, well, sort of. He is childhood friends with my partner, Jifei. Close enough, right? The instructor looked at him with pure envy. Half an hour later, Heiming finally devoured the giant bull. I breathed a sigh of relief, cast my recovery spell, and rested before we headed back out. Our goal was to hunt level 40 beasts. Even with 2 quests done, I chose not to go back to turn them in. The commute would waste too much time. I did not mind missing a few contribution points. Evolving Heiming was my absolute priority. Once he is ready, I can hit level 20 and unlock my next dungeon. Ever since I learned how dire humanity's situation is, I have felt this constant pressure. Roars echoed through the dark mountains. Heiming stood cloaked in a terrifying aura, looming over 2 dead level 42 mutant beasts as dark bay flames devoured their bodies, fusing their energy into his. I gasped for air, my mental strength drained to the absolute limit. Even casting recovery spells was impossible. My mind was foggy, my body completely exhausted and throbbing with pain. Having to physically shield him against a second beast for a few minutes nearly killed me, but it paid off. By nightfall, we had taken down 15 level 40 beasts. Heiming's base size grew to 58 meters, and all his stats got a massive 58-point boost. His defense broke past 300. If we faced that bull again, we would crush it in 10 minutes. These 42 beasts were complete jokes. His evolution meter gained another 195 points. When I finally walked back into base, everyone gasped. They breathed a sigh of relief. The female officer swallowed hard, unable to hide her shock. This is insane. 15 level 40 beasts in a single day that is over 2,000 contribution points. Everyone stared at me in awe. Currently, our top-ranked student at this base only has 700 points, and he is a senior from our academy, the top student from 3 years ago. What about the other bases? Yang Xiao asked. The female officer quickly typed away on her keyboard, checking the live leaderboards. The top score at Luoxiang base is 1,000 points. Next is Southern Yuntian with 890 points, then Western Qingtian at 850. This entire operation has over 100 schools participating across dozens of bases. We are starting with the densest mountain ranges before sweeping the surrounding areas. The whole cleanup will take a few months. We must suppress these beasts until they are no longer a threat. But why is there such a massive gap between us? Not only are their top students way ahead, but Luoxiang base is leading the overall cleanup speed too. Yang Xiao frowned. The female officer explained Beilong Academy is ranked first every year. Naturally, the best talent flocks to that base. With so many top-tier prodigies competing, the pressure is unreal. Everyone is pushing their limits, refusing to fall behind. But that is a good thing. The faster they clear their zone, the sooner they can help back up the struggling outposts. Aside from our 5 elite bases, the other 13 zones are struggling. The high-level beast count has barely dropped. Yang Xiao nodded. We need to pick up our pace so we can back them up. I finally reached the district. At an outpost around 2:30, the streets were still buzzing. After turning in my quests, my ranking shot up like a rocket. I went from rank 1245 straight to 10th. I did not care heading back to my dorm where Feng Ye rushed me. The forums are blowing up. Everyone thinks you are getting boosted by a senior, and they are blasting you for cheating. Just then, my phone buzzed with a friend request. It was from Ching Kong, the senior. Everyone accused of boosting me. I hit accept, and he immediately messaged. Ching Kong sent a single line, "Tomorrow, a level 52 giant dragon. Are you interested?"